that we are facing nowadays. I'm going to start with Sudan. During the weekend, the whole weekend, and the previous days, I have been in touch with partners in the region, and we will have to continue the diplomatic contacts at all levels. But the good news is that we have completed the evacuation of a lot of European citizens, of our European Union delegation staff, including our ambassador, who was evacuated directly to Djibouti. But the number 2 of the delegation, the security officer, has remained in Sudan, not in Khartoum, but in Sudan. So this morning I made a mistake. It's not the head of delegation, but the head of security who has remained in Sudan. It's quite impressive, but the number of evacuation flights yesterday, there were 11. 11 European Union member states took off from Khartoum. And today, we expect 20. Everybody thought that the evacuation was finished yesterday. No. Yesterday it was 11 flights, and today we have been counting all member states planning. It's about 20 more flights. And we have been evacuating European Union citizens and also some citizens from other countries. I cannot give you a precise number. I can give you the precise number of my staff. It's about 21. But my best estimation is that it will be more than 1,200 citizens evacuated at the end of the day. And it makes 31 flights. When I remember that on Saturday we were considering 2 or 3 or maybe 4 flights, it means that our political reach out and our contact, it has been working, and it has been an incredible mobilization of the member states that have air facilities and air capabilities to move planes and to move soldiers and to move military protection and taking everybody that they could. We hope that to complete the evacuation, that we still know they are there, maybe some 400 more, according with our consular registries. This is about our citizens, but I don't want to forget about the Sudanese people. The Sudanese people who are dying in the country, and that's why the fight must stop. We left Khartoum. It was too dangerous to remain there. Our diplomatic officers could not longer continue working. But I am thinking on the Sudanese people that they were not living, they are not living, they have to stay, and that's why the fight has to stop. But I want to remark the big effort that member states has done, some of them on the lead, and others mobilizing all their efforts, and us doing what we could do in order to try to coordinate all of them in order to reach the biggest number of European citizens possible. And then we went to Ukraine, as always. Foreign Minister Kuleba has updated us via VTC on the situation on the ground and on Ukraine's priorities and needs. We know Ukraine needs ammunition and missiles urgently, and they need them to defend its territory. It's not that Russia doesn't want to stop and Ukraine doesn't want to stop neither. No, this is not the way of presenting things. Russia doesn't want to stop the invasion, and Ukraine has to continue defending. This is the right thing of explaining what's happening there. I want to recall that horrible situation in the ground to all people who are calling for peace now. I am calling for peace too. But these calls, where were these calls when Russia was massing troops on the borders? We all want peace, and first and foremost the Ukrainians. But it needs to be a just peace, and until then we will continue supporting Ukraine's defense. Recently, some ideas regarding peace were floated by China and also by Brazil. Now, for a credible, for a honest peace efforts, one needs to talk to Kyiv and to go there, to see the aggression through their eyes and through the eyes of those who are being bombed. One needs to be very clear about what's happening. There is an aggressor who has violated the United Nations Charter and invaded another country, and there is a victim of this aggression. We cannot accept this kind of benevolent approach, saying, oh, one doesn't want to stop and the other neither. Oh no, you cannot put on the same ground the aggressor and the aggressed. And that's why we are supporting Ukraine, now including tanks, air defense, and even fighters. Some member states are providing also air capacities. Today we have been looking at the amount of deliveries. I can estimate that over 13 billion euros in military support. We are continue delivering on our promises on 1 million rounds of artillery ammunition and missiles for Ukraine. Remember that we designed the Track 1, Track 2, Track 3. Track 1, worth 1 billion euros, designed to respond to the most immediate needs, is underway. It's underway, so I cannot provide you with concrete figures, but I have estimation of what's going on. More than 1,000 missiles has been provided to Ukraine, and a number of ammunition which is still growing, but it has to grow quicker in the next days. The second track, another billion, is being finalized by member states. There has been some disagreement, but the work continues. We are not waiting for the legal document to be finished to start working. The work continues, and everything is being prepared to be implemented as soon as the legal document will be finished. And on Track 3, to upgrade and to increase the capabilities of our defense industry, my friend and colleague Breton will present soon concrete proposals to ramp up the defense production capacity. But by the time being, we have to use what we have, and we have a lot. The training mission continues working. More than 16,000 Ukrainian soldiers has been trained, and the target continues to be 13 by the end of the year. We continue maintaining pressure on Russia through sanctions and accountability mechanism, watching suspicious trade flows of third countries to detect possible circumvention. We continue outreach to third countries and allies to counter that. We have discussed the action plan on the geopolitical consequences of the Russia aggression, because yes, we have to reach out much more with third countries. The narrative, the Russian narrative, has to be countered in Asia, in Africa, in Latin America, increasing our bilateral engagements, and presenting a plan that goes beyond the everyday crisis management. To build a foreign common policy is more than just facing the everyday crisis, the crisis of the day, and every day there is one. We have to go further and to look at a structural approach to our policy with respect to the countries that they don't look at this war with the same eyes, with the same lenses than us. This plan is part of the Global Gateway Initiative. It will include this initiative, and it will be the way of engaging on this new era of the foreign policy, the era of a fragmented world with two different ecosystems of technological developments, with two groups of people, and everybody trying to attract to this group, one side or the other, when there are many people who doesn't want to take sides, but they have to take a position with respect to the war in Ukraine and with respect to the relationship with the growing role of China. We are living in a new political landscape at the world stage, and we have to deal with it. Then we went more in detail about what's happening in Moldova, which is one of the most affected by Putin's war. We discussed concrete support measures for Moldova, a new European Union civilian mission that I will be launching when I will visit Moldova during the next European Political Community Conference. We are reaching a broad agreement on a new sanctions regime against the ones who destabilized the country, allocated 40 million euros to support Moldova's defense capabilities. On Georgia, we had lunch with Foreign Minister to discuss the historic opportunity in terms of Georgia's European perspective that needs also to strengthen their democracy. We confirm that Georgia is doing significant progress but needs more reform. Because at the end of the year, the status for Georgia as candidate at the end of the year will be considered. And we encourage the Minister Darchiashvili to send positive signals to Brussels and the member states in delivering on the set of priorities on the adhesion process. We discussed about the Azerbaijan decision to unilaterally establish a checkpoint on the entry to the Lashin corridor, which runs counter our call for reducing tensions. Issues have to be solved through dialogue, and we had to build confidence with Armenia as a basis to progress toward normalization of their relations. On China, as you know, my visit had to be rescheduled, aimed to talk to each other to understand each other better. We insist on the idea, I insist on the idea that there are areas where our interests converge and we need to work together. Global challenges cannot be solved without China. Climate, but also debt management and global health. But we also expect China to act in defense of international rules and norms entirely, not selectively. When it comes to Russia, justified war against Ukraine, China, as a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, has the responsibility to defend the United Nations Charter. It was also important, and I want to signal that Beijing has distanced itself from the unacceptable remark of its ambassador to Paris. I issued a tweet yesterday saying that I hope that these statements or remarks by the ambassador was not or were not the position, the official position of China, and now we have a concrete answer that it's not. So it's a good news. But on China, we will have to continue discussing on the next Gimich meeting. We are preparing a position paper, updating and recalibrating our strategy towards China as it was defined in 2019, which is a long time ago, to study how to implement a new approach. At the end, the foreign policy has to be defined by the European Union Council, and we will work in order to present it with an analysis, a position paper that will be discussed by the leaders. Today there were too many issues in the agenda in order to be able to go deeper on China, which will be a permanent issue and that will be discussed at the Gimich. All in all, that's what we have been discussing today. That's a quick summary. I remain at your disposal for more details.
Thank you very much, High Representative. So we take a few questions. First was Thomas. Thomas, you have a microphone on your left.
Thomas Kutschka, Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung. High Representative.
Sorry. Is there any...
Is the mic on? No.
No, there is no headphones, no? Yeah.
Maybe try to speak louder into the mic.
In order to be sure I understand you well.
It's not working, is it?
It's not
Can you
working.
hear me?
That's
All
why
right.
they need headphones.
Okay.
It's not working. And there is translation in order to be sure I understand well. This interpretation. No?
Okay. Thomas Kutschka, Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung. Is it working?
Try now.
Okay. High Representative, as far as I know, the Ukrainian Foreign Minister Kuleba today again used quite harsh language when he addressed foreign ministers by VTC regarding military help. He also called for more support, not only on ammunitions, but also on long-range missiles. Does he have a point, given that the EU member states so far have only pledged 41,000 pieces of artillery to Ukraine, which is still far away from the 1 million goal, and it's hard to see how you could meet this number if you don't get substantially more via track 1. So how do you view this? Is it still possible to get to the 1 million goal, and is the criticism by Ukraine justified? Thank you.
Contestarle en español para estar seguro de que me expreso correctamente y que mis palabras son bien interpretadas. Sí, ciertamente, el ministro Kuleba ha planteado sus demandas con la angustia que siente el que vive una guerra. Aquí podemos teorizar, pero Ucrania está sufriendo una agresión bárbara, está siendo bombardeada sistemáticamente y es normal que pida con insistencia y urgencia más y más y más ayuda. Y créanme que hacemos todo lo que podemos para cumplir con nuestros compromisos. No puedo concretar una cifra porque cambia todos los días, pero es cierto que el primer track, el que consiste en entregar parte de los stocks militares de los Estados miembros, se ha concentrado fundamentalmente en misiles. Hay más de 1.000 misiles que han sido ya entregados a Ucrania, y la munición tiene unas cifras que no alcanzan las perspectivas que me gustaría a mí y que le gustarían a Kuleba, sin duda, pero es cuestión de forzar el ritmo y aumentar las entregas. Lo que sí le puedo decir es que los Estados miembros han presentado peticiones de reembolso. Peticiones de reembolso no quiere decir exactamente material entregado, por valor de 600 millones de euros sobre los 1.000 millones del primer track. Por lo tanto, el primer track tenía un plazo a finales de este mes, a finales de mayo, y hasta ahora ya hemos recibido 600 millones, es decir, el 60% de la cantidad disponible para reembolsos. No vamos a reembolsar el 100% y por lo tanto todavía tenemos margen para seguir cofinanciando más contribuciones. Vamos a reembolsar el 50% y por lo tanto tenemos margen todavía. Pero todos los ministros creo que comprenden la urgencia de la demanda de Ucrania y me voy a dirigir a los ministros de defensa de todos los Estados miembros para transmitir esta demanda de acelerar nuestras entregas, porque la única manera de contrarrestar los ataques rusos es con una capacidad que depende críticamente de nuestra ayuda.
Thank you. Then I've seen in the last row. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Florian Neuhand, ZDF German TV. Do you hear me? I don't know if this is working. Okay, perfect. Also on ammunition, on the second track, has there been any movement with regard to the French position? Are you still convinced that there will be a consensus reached within the next days? And can you understand that some member states, some foreign ministers say this is embarrassing for the EU, that 4 weeks after the agreement reached in Sweden and afterwards in Brussels, there still is no consensus on how to implement this? Thank you.
Como le digo, no estamos esperando al consenso sobre la última coma, sobre el último párrafo del acuerdo para trabajar en su aplicación. No estamos esperando a que el acuerdo sea 100% para poner en marcha lo que ya sabemos que tenemos que hacer. Y la Agencia Europea de la Defensa está trabajando y los Estados miembros están trabajando y los acuerdos pendientes. Esta mañana, evidentemente, no era el lugar para discutir los detalles que están siendo objeto de acuerdo, pero estoy seguro que en los próximos días llegarán los Estados miembros a un acuerdo total sobre cómo hacer esta demanda adicional a la industria por valor de 1.000 millones de euros. Pero insisto, no se crean que estamos esperando a que se acuerde el último párrafo para poner en marcha todos los mecanismos para que se puedan aplicar.
Thank you. Pour changer la langue, la côté de la salle, Nicolas. Voilà.
Je croyais que vous allez me demander pour le Soudan.
Ça va venir. Ça va venir.
Je vois que le succès n'attire pas beaucoup de questions.
Justement sur ma première question était justement sur le Soudan. S'il vous plaît, monsieur le représentant, Nicolas Gros-Verret de B2 et Sud-Ouest. Je voulais savoir ce que vous tiriez comme leçon de cette évacuation qui n'est toujours pas terminée, puisqu'on voit que les Européens ont été quand même les maîtres d'œuvre de cette évacuation, pas seulement pour leurs diplomates, mais aussi les ressortissants, voire les ressortissants africains. Et qu'est-ce que vous en tirez comme leçon pour le futur? Deuxièmement, sur le Soudan, vous appelez un cessez-le-feu. Comment on va pouvoir agir sur des généraux qui semblent décidés à mettre le pays à feu et à sang? Donc c'était sur cette première question. Concernant la Moldavie, je voulais savoir comment vous comptez soutenir avec la mission qui a été décidée par les Européens. Enfin, quel est l'objectif, je dirais, politique de cette mission, pas uniquement au niveau technique, mais au niveau politique, ça veut dire qu'on s'engage clairement aux côtés des Moldaves pour stabiliser leur État. Est-ce que c'est... Je vous remercie beaucoup.
Sí, claro que vamos a ayudar a Moldavia a estabilizar una situación que tiene mucho que ver con la presión que recibe y el condicionamiento que representa su inmediata vecindad Rusia y con una parte de su territorio, Transnistria, con una fuerte presencia de tropas rusas. Ayudar a Moldavia a incrementar sus capacidades de defensa, sobre todo en los aspectos cibernéticos y frente a ataques híbridos, lo estamos haciendo y lo seguiremos haciendo. Y no olviden que Moldavia va a ser el lugar de encuentro de la comunidad política europea dentro de poco tiempo. 40 jefes de Estado y de Gobierno se van a dar cita en ese país y yo aprovecharé la circunstancia para lanzar nuestra misión de apoyo civil a Moldavia. Mire, evidentemente la Unión Europea, ningún Estado miembro tiene la capacidad de imponer un alto el fuego, no la tiene nadie. Pero la comunidad internacional, toda ella, y nosotros también, estamos dramáticos para conseguir que los combates cesen, porque no nos podemos permitir la desestabilización total de un país como Sudán, por su dimensión demográfica y por su papel estratégico en África. Lecciones que hemos aprendido de esto pues son muchas y variadas, las iremos comentando. Creo que En el futuro hay que aumentar la capacidad de coordinación y acción conjunta de los Estados europeos. Es uno de los objetivos del Strategic Compass, hacer que tengamos una capacidad de despliegue de fuerza para securizar un aeropuerto, para proteger una evacuación, que ahora lo han ido haciendo todos los Estados miembros que han intervenido uno tras otro. Ahora llega un país, ahora llega el siguiente, ahora llega el siguiente, cada uno con sus tropas, con sus aviones, con sus acuerdos. Sería de desear una acción más integrada, no solo más coordinada, más integrada. Hace ya 30 años, con los acuerdos de Pittsburgh, cuando se definía este objetivo como una de las acciones que podía desarrollar una política de seguridad europea. Pero debo decir que en su conjunto, la acción que han desarrollado los Estados miembros y la coordinación que hemos podido hacer desde nuestro centro de crisis ha sido realmente muy exitosa. Francamente, ha superado todas mis expectativas y previsiones. 30 vuelos en 2 días, nunca imaginé que fueran a ser tantos. Y transportar más de 1.100 y puede que lleguen a ser 1.500 personas en menos de 48 horas, ustedes perdonarán, pero es un éxito del que debemos sentirnos satisfechos. Se puede hacer de manera más integrada y en el futuro debemos ser capaces de hacerlo. Pero es una buena muestra de que los países europeos juntos, aportando cada uno sus capacidades, son capaces de hacerlo.
Thank you. And to stay with Sudan, Nureddin.
Good afternoon, Mr. Borell, and Nureddin Fridi from Al Arabiya News Channel. Generally speaking, when the diplomats and experts are evacuated from somewhere, first of all, that the civilians are abandoned. Second, things are going very bad. And mainly, because things are going very bad, diplomats are in necessity to be there. But unfortunately, they have to withdraw. My question is, since you finished the evacuation, let's say, how the European Union is going to continue providing humanitarian assistance to the Sudanese, mainly how are your diplomats are going to work to try to help to solve the crisis on diplomatic and political level. I know it's how can you manage that, let's say, when you withdraw your diplomats? Thank you.
No, mire, no. Los diplomáticos tienen unos niveles de riesgo por encima de los cuales no pueden seguir haciendo su función. Su presencia es inútil y peligrosa. Y quiero recordarle que el jefe de la unidad de ayuda humanitaria a Sudán fue gravemente herido de bala y ha tenido que ser evacuado bajo una atención médica límite. O sea que no trivialicemos la situación en la que los diplomáticos hacen su trabajo. Cuando el jefe de la célula de la unidad de ayuda humanitaria es herido y afortunadamente no ha muerto, pero a punto estuvo, pues ciertamente hay que replegarse. Y ocurre así en todas partes y en todas circunstancias. Los Estados miembros han retirado su presencia diplomática, las familias de su staff y su propio staff. Hemos dejado, como les digo, en nuestro caso, al número 2 de la embajada sigue en Sudán, pero no tenía sentido mantener en una ciudad envuelta en combates a gente que no puede hacer su trabajo y está poniendo sus vidas en peligro. Claro que se han tenido que replegar, claro que sí. Siempre se hace así, no es ninguna novedad. ¿Que eso nos deja sin presencia en el terreno? Pues sí, claro, no se puede tener toda la vida. Volveremos cuando podamos. Y mientras tanto tenemos otras formas de estar en contacto con lo que ocurre en Sudán, ¿no?
Thank you. Next one, Andrew.
Andrew Gray from Reuters. High Representative, you've said it was good news that China has distanced itself from the remarks by its ambassador to France. Does that mean you now consider this matter closed, or will you seek further clarification and reassurance from Beijing that the ambassador didn't, perhaps inadvertently, express what China really thinks about ex-Soviet countries and their right to exist as sovereign states? Thank you.